you.
Where do you think you fit now with, it looks like they said Kincaid and Clemenson will probably compete for the backup job. Do you feel like you're in that picture too?
As a goaltender, you always want to play.
Yeah.
Those two are obviously older than me and have a little bit more experience. And I mean, as a development standpoint, I can definitely use another year in the A, but I'm not going to come in complacent. It's the way anybody is. If it is their job, and regardless of my development standpoint, I'm obviously going to make them work for it. There's no way any goalie would push over and just say, okay, well, you guys have it. I'll work another year. But at the same point, you have to think about the future for yourself, and you don't want to strive too far or get trying to do too much, and then obviously hurt yourself in the long run.
How did last year go for you in the AHL? You're like first full.
I enjoyed it. I mean, Trenton was a little bit of a whirlwind for me, but coming up to the A, slow start with their schedule, not many 3-3, so it was hard to get into a groove. But the second half, I feel like I fell into a zone, and down the stretch there, me and Keith were both playing up to par and what we wanted, and then obviously got ourselves a playoff berth, and things fell where they fell. But going into the summer, I was really confident with my game, and obviously just improving it each year will obviously be my strive to get better and move up the ladder here.
Is that just the familiarity, Scott, that second half of last year when you played so well, that second half? Is it becoming accustomed more to the system, that type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a new surrounding, living situations, different apartments, and, stuff outside of the rink that kind of affects people. But, mentally at the start, it was just about, I think I put a little too much pressure on myself trying to take over a job and show too much right away. And, not that it hurt me, but it was obviously something where, as a learning experience, if I took it a little bit slower, I think I might have been better off at the start for the first few weeks. But second half, I knew where I fell. I knew, when I got in the net, to stop the puck. And the team, I liked all the guys. I felt like they liked me. And, obviously when you have a team that wants to play for you, it's going to help you out. And down the stretch, I mean, the playoff push in that whole locker room everyone was full force, and I think a lot of my good play was due to the team as well, which is the way it's a team sport. Made the saves I had to make, and we pushed for wins, and we got what we needed, and obviously it helped out my stat book for sure. So the second half was definitely a little more easier mentally, and I understood the area and things like that. So next year I can only hope for it to be better.
What do you think you take out of these camps now? You've been to a few of these already. What do you take when you come back now? What do you get from them?
It's a good week for me. I mean, it's midsummer. I think after this, it's when you really turn on the switch. It kind of kicks off your second half. It's like a season almost. You want to think of the summer. First few weeks you're feeling it out, and then the second half kind of just kicks in, and you're motored into main camp as your playoffs. Really, if you want to go in a training standpoint that way. But for me, it's the same thing. Work off Terreri, Jacques Caron's here, all the coaching staff, and obviously you got some players that can shoot the puck, and obviously some newly highly skilled guys. So, you feel where you're at. It's midsummer. You're not in mid-season form where you don't want to go too far and hurt yourself. But it's definitely a knowledge standpoint where you want to pick up as much info and obviously grow your game moving forward.
How about the core defensemen that you were able to play, behind in Albany? Severinsen and Hedgerflin and those guys. I mean, they're pretty talented players.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Seaver hopefully coming in this year will be an impact depending on where he lies. Our system last year, I mean, I think we had almost the same amount of NHL players that had played in the NHL in the A last year. So, we got Urban back there after the signing, and Larson came down, Jelena came down, Merrill was there. I got my first shutout against Springfield, take advantage of, 5 NHL guys in the lineup, and then you get guys like Helgeson, Scarlett, Rabarenka, Dan Kelly blocking shots. You can't not, feel safe with those guys in front of you. They're very talkative, and obviously it's a huge help as a goaltender knowing the situation you have in front of you. And I think we did have the best D-core in the American League last year. Our offense was just up to, as good as they were. It's just a matter of putting it all together and putting points on the board. But as a goaltender, it was definitely huge for me and Keith playing with those guys. And obviously we had pretty much the same group throughout the whole year with the minus of Merrill and Jelena at times. So I mean, you're not gonna feel comfortable every game starting with that group in front of you.
Obviously, you guys are real good friends, but is there a competition too with Keith, knowing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, your goaltenders, right? Everybody wants to play, but the thing that I liked with him, we could, as goalies, you only have one other guy in your position. You're not a forward group. You're not an offensive core. But me, him, and Caruso definitely had a nice bond. And I've talked to Keith throughout the summer, but throughout the year, I had ups and downs. He had ups and downs, and we both. Both put those aside depending on who's in net, but you have to win for the team. So Keith's playing well. You're there to help him along, help your team along, and hopefully it's the same feeling the other way around when I'm in net. But it's definitely you both want to play. It's a tough part about the position, but it's a friendly and healthy competition, which is what you want as a goalie partnership.
Thanks, Scott.
you spending your summer?
I'm back home in Brampton. Go back and forth between my parents' house and my billets in Plymouth, Michigan. So they're at Varsity Training Center, same I've done for the last few years. Eating healthy, a lot better than what I have in the past. But the last 2 years being a pro is what that's all about. Down in weight and where I want to be right now moving forward.
Is there a lot of conversation in the summer with Terreri or with Dave Caruso or those guys? Are you checking in, or are they checking in?
Yeah, we checked in at the end of the summer. Jacques Caron has called me a couple of times, let me know he's coming down to camp, and Chris is definitely a good guy to rely on too. But you got to get your space in the summer too. It's a long year, on the ice every day with Dave and whatnot. But definitely you have guys that you talk to, and then I have a couple goalie coaches that I work with as well at my home, and it's everybody has a different impact. You're not going to learn everything from one person. So I think the balance of who I have in my life right now, working with certain things, is definitely helping me move forward. And you reach out to different guys, and that's how you're going to learn and try different things and see what works and what doesn't. But definitely a good group of experienced and guys that have had great careers in the position that I've had the ability to work with throughout my career, and hopefully keep moving forward with all of them and maybe build some new relationships throughout the way.